Registrar. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to be here today. USP tried that too, but unfortunately I won't be around today, so USP won't help me this year, probably next year. Open Day is all about opening doors of the university so that students get a close-up view of what's happening in the university, can ask open-ended questions, can see what's happening in the university classrooms and workshops. And that's why the Open Day is also joined with a fascinating exhibition, I'm told, by the College of Engineering, which is always a leader in terms of Open Day. When it comes to Open Day, it's Engineering College and the Medical College that takes the lead in terms of having those very exciting exhibitions. And of course, that's science. That's science, very exact. But you know, they're always ring-fenced by the business college, and business colleges in the Open Day. Business college plays second fiddle. You know, they come and support, and they give all their campus out to the engineering college and the medical college. Ladies and gentlemen, this, as I said, as I alluded on earlier on, and also as the acting vice chancellor mentioned, the day is for students. This is the day that you ask questions and clear your doubts. But 2 weeks ago, as a parent, I had to make a very defining decision for my daughter, who is in year 13, and suddenly she dropped the bomb. She said, "I want to be a pilot." So it was never on our books that for her to be a pilot, only daughter. And now she's admitted, and this Saturday is her first flight, an introductory flight, and she starts in 2 weeks' time, her pilot course. So now these things are a very defining decision a parent will have to make, a child have to make, and the decision needs to be guided by parents, and of course parents needs to be supported by those who are on the supply side, because a decision to take up a particular study in a particular area has to be guided by, first of all, student interest. It is very important that students must have interest in this area. And then secondary to it is the labor market opportunities, and also the finance, which I'm going to talk about in a little later. So today it's important that the massive amount of exhibition, massive amount of work that has been done towards having this Open Day, students, I urge you all to take advantage of that and do visit. It might not be possible for you to probably visit all campuses, but my feeling is that the university would be making some DVDs, and of course there are other information, both online as well as print information, that you should pick up, read through, examine it. You still have time, and to probably till December to make up your mind what particular program that you would want to get admitted to. It's a very defining, very important decision that you'll be making, because it's something that will define your whole future and your ability to succeed in that as well. So the day is yours, students. I know being in the university system, there's a massive amount of work that takes place culminating into an Open Day. And here today, the university has opened up the doors physically and literally, so that we can enter those labs and those classrooms and those workshops and have a feel of it. Physically, actually, literally touch those equipments, you know, and see what it means in terms of the provision of that particular program that you may be studying later on. So again, do take advantage of that. Don't rush through, and ask those important critical questions that sometimes you might be feeling shy of. There will be tutors and lecturers and coordinators out there to help you and assist you. Ladies and gentlemen, National University of Fiji, the Fiji National University, is the largest university in the entire Pacific region. No other university in the entire Pacific region offers you this range of programs and the levels that the Fiji National University offers. No other. For Fiji, this university is our national pride. This university gets education and training closer to you. We are trying to ensure that in our quest to take education programs closer to the people in Fiji, we don't want to spread that much that will compromise on quality, and therefore we will be consolidating some of our physical campuses. We will definitely have a campus, as the council has decided, in the west. We will further strengthen it, ensure that all the resources are there. And we have, of course, the campuses in Suva that will remain, that will be strengthened, the infrastructure will be strengthened. And of course, we have this campus in Lambasa that is coming up. And the government has been allocating money to ensure that it is one state-of-the-art campus. There are certain programs that cannot be offered in all campuses, and we are mindful of that, and we won't be able to offer it. For example, medicine program, engineering programs at upper levels cannot be offered at all campuses without compromising the quality of the program. Therefore, this won't be offered at the upper levels outside Suva. This is our flagship campus for engineering, and will remain so, and will continue to strengthen and ensure that the workshops are provided with the kind of equipment that it should be there. From the government's point of view, you have seen that money is not an issue from government's point of view. I think we are very committed to the National University. We want to see plans from the university in terms of investing in the quality side of the education. To this effect, we had discussions with the new Chancellor and the Council members and the Acting Vice Chancellor in terms of strengthening our business college, ring-fencing our business college so that it remains a golden goose, and it will support the other colleges where there are certain programs that the society demands but may not be viable to offer. We will continue to offer because we need to build a Fijian society where we will have expertise in all areas despite numbers being low in those programs. For example, sociology, anthropology. We would want to offer these programs. We shouldn't have an issue about not having sufficient numbers, but we want people or experts in this area. Look at what's happening in the society, some of the social issues, and these are solid, sustainable solutions to deal with these social issues is for us to undertake research which will contribute towards policy making. Who does research? It's the universities. This is where the thinking community is. This is where people who would be doing research, creating the body of knowledge, and from that, policymakers will be guided towards developing policies which will address these issues. And I must say that relative to the age of Fiji National University, the research work that has been done is quite impressive. More can be done, but we need to have or attract more senior researchers and professors who could mentor and guide younger and junior staff, and that will happen in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, that government is totally committed to supporting our national university as well as the University of the South Pacific, which give us our leverage in the region. We have allocated substantial amount of money out of our budget this year for FNU, and we look forward to submission from FNU again this year to support the university building capacity and building quality of the program. We understand that to have a good quality university, you need to attract quality staff. Last year there was changes to staff salary. This year again there will be changes to staff salary so that we continue to retain quality staff within the university as well as attract staff from outside market where we could get quality staff from. We, as I alluded to earlier on, we will be supporting the university through financial resources to establish quality infrastructure so that students' learning environment is not compromised. We want quality infrastructure with respect to computer labs, quality classrooms. Gone are those days where we have got a monopoly provider of tertiary education, and therefore students did not have choice. Now the tertiary environment is competitive. We are in a very competitive environment. We have got a university, well-established university across the road where infrastructure difference is quite glaring. This gap needs to be quickly fixed so that students can get true competitive environment. And at the moment, with respect to infrastructure, we don't see a true competitive environment. Ladies and gentlemen, as I alluded to earlier on, we are committed to ensuring that the programs that we offer It is offered by best qualified and competent staff. To that effect, we will continue to look at staff conditions. We are committed to ensuring that existing campuses and existing programs are supported by quality infrastructure. And I've had discussions with the acting Vice Chancellor and the Chair of Council to strengthen the business college, strengthen the agriculture college, so that the programs that we're offering out there are supported by appropriate labs, particularly the veterinary programs, the animal science program. With respect to the engineering college, I've said to the acting Vice Chancellor and the Chancellor, we need to ensure that the workshop area that was created at the back is filled up with appropriate equipments so that we can offer the final year degree programs without compromising on quality. Government level are wanting to look at the university. We want the university to further undertake research and help us contributing to policy making. We don't have capacity to undertake research in the ministry, and we are dependent on universities like PG National University and other universities in PG to undertake research. And I look forward to more discussion and more discourse in the university. Unfortunately, we don't see that kinds and that level of seminars and workshops and conferences at FNU. I do understand that we still need to attract more people within our system so that we can have conferences and seminars at that scale that we see across the road in other universities. But I think we can also do a lot by working jointly with other universities. And I've said to the other universities that I would want to see certain joint programs or certain units taught by jointly by universities. They can still have their programs, or certain programs only taught by certain universities, particularly those high-cost programs. So these are some of the things that we will be working closely, but something that I had alluded to in my speech at the Fulton University College is the issue of the qualification framework and ability of university to ensure that the programs meet the requirements of the qualification framework rather than the qualification framework meeting the requirements of the existing programs. So that is something that we will be watching closely via the Higher Education Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much, and I do hope that the students will take advantage of the amazing display in the exhibition that has been made possible today by the FNU community. And I wish every child, on behalf of our government, a very productive future. And I want to assure you that with respect to financial resources to support a student to undertake studies, there will be no obstacle. There will be absolutely no obstacle for every child in this country to realize the dream. We're looking at what is the real aptitude of a child, whether it's technical education or higher education. With respect to technical education, we've got FNU offering from level 3. We also have got technical colleges coming up from level 2. Amazing opportunity for every child in this country. Never ever before we had this kind of opportunity for children in this country. So with respect to opportunities and obstacles for children, we are gradually removing all of them. It's now rest the decision for a brighter future of the children actually has been passed to the children themselves. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.